Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We are moving into the month of April of 1986. Hopefully, my goal is to have World Class done within the next couple of weeks, depending on my schedule. But April of 86 is where we are, and we open with the one-man gang versus Jerry Allen. Allen has been more of a force here in the last few weeks than he was previously. However, one-man gang, not a guy that he really wants to be in there with. Gang kind of seems a little bit lost since losing his manager and such. He goes and hits some strikes, gets forearms and such on the outside, but he's not the force that he once was even 6 months ago. And he does leave for the World Wrestling Federation by sometime in 1987, so he's got a few months left here at most. Maybe 6 months, something like that. Maybe a little more, but he is on his way out of the organization, in less than a year, and certainly he goes to town on Allen, hits some headbutts, keeps him on the outside of the ring. The story basically of the match is a one-sided deal. Shame for Allen, because Allen had come, I wouldn't say totally further like he was going to be a main event star, but definitely the last few matches he's had less squash than this one. Of course, what are you going to do with a guy Gang size? Gang certainly hits a one-handed body slam. Well, it's a one-man body slam, as he doesn't need any help. Takes the guy back to his feet and kind of goes at him. Gang does not waste any motion. Big splash in the corner, moves the ring. In the process, does the Gang. And certainly a situation of major influence. Allen, though, does not quit fighting back, which kind of interesting. I mean, to see a guy last even 5 minutes with the Gang, a big deal. Clothesline forearm combination by the Gang is up next, and Gang drags the guy into the middle of the ring before hitting that big body splash, which is a big thing, and the Gang gets a victory there. We move into a little person's match, midget match in the old days. Not a politically correct term today, so trying to be as kind as possible there. Anyway, Little Tokyo against Little Mr. T. And I didn't even know there was a Little Mr. T. I did not remember this particular little person. This is your typical little person match, a lot of comedy. T with the strikes. Tokyo known for actually booking the little people at this time alongside Lord Littlebrook. Littlebrook doing the majority of it, but Tokyo does do some of the bookings here, brings them through. Did not realize that they went this way all the way up until 86. I did not know that there were still national level promotions that used little people. I had assumed that ended after 85 with the first WrestleMania, but big airplane spin by Little Mr. T, and Tokyo always good with that particular spot. He does the good sell on the airplane spin. Power attempt by T, and Tokyo gets a few shots right under the chin. I will say Little Tokyo has a tremendous sell. He takes the man down and clubs him right across the chest, and then takes a kind of a timber fall slingshot into the corner, and Little Mr. T makes his way to the top rope, which very rare that we see a little person head to the top. Mexican minis used to do it, but the finish is kind of a diving splash where he lands on his feet. Not the best looking of maneuvers. Anyway, we move into the next match. Next match being the Bruiser Brody versus Terry Gordy match that had been built for a little while. This is the match you'd expect it to be. Brody and Gordy. Say that 3 times fast. Anyway, they go for brawling right from the beginning. They certainly have no interest in doing anything but fighting each other in a continual brawl sort of way. And that leads to a lot of fighting around the ring. Of course, Brody, who does have more, I guess you'd say, traditional wrestling acumen than I originally thought. Of course, showing my ignorance because he did have to do more than just punch and kick in Japan, obviously. But my exposure to Brody was extremely limited. Also, this match only goes about 3 or 4 minutes. Actually, uses a boot on his arm to go at Gordy, nails Gordy in the head with the boot, disqualification, and actually Gordy takes off one of Brody's boots. Actually, that's what happens there, and the referee has difficulty in taking care of that. I mean, it's a 5-minute brawl, and it's very clear that nothing gets settled here. They brawl to the outside, they brawl into the crowd, the whole bit. And if you like that sort of thing, this is very good. Then we move into David Manning telling everybody to vote for their idea of who should challenge Rick Rude for the championship, as that is a big thing. Then we move to our main event, the Freebirds versus Brickhouse Brown, newcomer, and Lance Von Erich. Von Erich has been kind of positioned as I guess I'd say a Von Erich substitution. I don't think the crowds ever took Lance to be the Von Erich of Kerry, Kevin, David, or even Mike to that matter, but they do accept him slowly, partially because of who he's booked with. Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts are your Freebirds du jour, and Brickhouse Brown, again, a relative newcomer who has been trained mainly in the CWA Memphis style of wrestling. And Roberts kind of does the switch of hammerlocks and headlocks and the like early in the match. Michael Hayes also in the action that way. Hayes, again, still such a talented guy. Shame to me that he never got national level exposure in a bigger way. I think Michael Hayes could have been, maybe not a world champion, but certainly like a U.S. champion, intercontinental champion type in his right day and age. But he chose the Freebirds because he was hanging out with his buddies, and I understand that. If you have good friends you can be on the road with, why not do the tag team thing? But Brown is a guy who, lots of arm bars, leg locks, and the like. Tag off to Lance Von Erich. Von Erich waits a couple of minutes to come in, actually. He's kind of like the cleanup guy. Von Erich holds on to the arm for quite a few minutes and goes, with a few hard shots before Hayes tries to break it down with some chops. Roberts tries to break it down with some chops. The head scissors take over, and the use of the head scissors that we usually see from Kevin, we see from Lance. That's kind of different, so kind of showing a little bit of similar style. Nice rollover and a hot tag, and again, Brickhouse Brown, the guy who really, as a newcomer, is being really treated well here. He cleans house on Hayes for a few seconds into a couple of minutes, and the crowd very, very much behind the two not that Lance Von Erich is a newcomer at this point. He's been around for several months, but again, Brickhouse is a newcomer who is being treated very, very well by the fans. And with about, 8 or 9 minutes left, you can see a lot of back and forth. Hayes tries to break things down quite a bit. The Buddy Roberts manages to get a front face lock, and then the heels cut the ring off over the next several minutes, including a spinning neckbreaker by Roberts. And you actually see Brickhouse Brown selling so well he's doing some sort of convulsion. Roberts goes back to the chin lock cinch up and tries to get everything he can out of every given move. And doesn't get everything he wants, but gets enough. Double axe handle by Hayes to the back. They stay on the back for the next several minutes. Lance Von Erich cheering at ringside as just as Brown took a lot of the heat, or a lot of the shine. He's also taking a lot of the heat and does eventually come back. Then we see the baby faces do end up getting a quick win victory here, surprisingly, as a roll up is all that's needed from Lance Von Erich, at least for the moment, or so is thought. But then he manages to almost get thrown over the top rope. Does the skin the cat, comes back, rolls up Buddy Roberts 1, 2, and 3. And Michael Hayes is less than happy, but we are happy to have ended the first edition of April here in World Class, and we'll be back with more action right after this.